Okay, we're going to go ahead and start with GoPro videos that demonstrate competency. And the very first thing I'm going to show you is a table that was built, a garden table that was built in my class, and it required a different point of view. And you'll actually see a student using the GoPro, recording it. It's just in a different environment where maybe the Chrome or the desktop device camera or the Chromebook camera just isn't the right camera of choice in a rugged space or in a space where you think a student might drop the camera. So the GoPro is a great solution for the classroom where you're going to be doing a lot of recording in an environment where you don't want to worry about dropped cameras. You don't want to worry about using smartphones because of the different apps that are on there. It's just a device that's capturing and is storing all of the information on the SD card and is rugged and can provide good point of view. So you'll see in the plan, they just captured their plan of building the table. In this next one, you'll see the student is recording the students putting the table together. This one, they put the GoPro right on the wood next to the chop saw. And the final piece is recording the garden table that was built. So this video here's the video.
We have been commissioned to build tables for our new school greenhouse. Each person in our group has specific tasks to complete. Here is our plan. Our table is a rectangular prism. It was very important that we had 90-degree angles and that our cuts were to the mere 1/16 of an inch. We measured each board and used a square to mark the cut. We used this chop saw to cut the boards. Here is our table. We added wire shelving to the top so that water can drip through. We can now start setting our plans on the table.
And so in that, you are able to see the video and why it's being used. Now, this one right here is how do the students go ahead and attach the GoPro to the Chromebook? And so this video right here is showing you how to do that, how to get the GoPro footage easily into the CrossBraining app.
Open the latch to the GoPro, plug in the C side of the USB into the GoPro, attach the USB to the Chromebook. The screen that pops up will notify you that the GoPro has been plugged in. It looks like this. X that screen out. Go to Choose File. Select the GoPro, click the DCIM, click the folder, find your video, open it, and it will begin processing.
So if you have any questions on that, you can replay this as many times as you want or reach out to us if you have questions on uploading video into the CrossBraining app. The next few minutes, it's going to roughly take about 10 minutes as we have Julie Coe from GoPro is going to go through a bunch of different settings and features on the GoPro to help you understand the camera a little bit better, and gives you an opportunity to share some key features. And I'll point a few of them out that I really like as she goes through the camera, unpacking it to using it in the classroom.
So I'm just going to quickly brief through, the unboxing of your camera. I think most of you have a Hero 7 White, and I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions afterwards. So I'm just going to breeze through sort of the high-level features of your camera, some great software tools that GoPro has to offer that you can utilize in the classroom, and we can go on to back to CrossBraining. So I'm going to dive into, this is the core, these are the core features that you're going to see in pretty much almost every GoPro. Rugged and waterproof, of course. You don't need to purchase a separate casing for your camera to be waterproof. They are waterproof right out of the box, up to 10 meters. And then you have the touch screen, the voice control aspect of it. And you can find all the voice control commands on our site. Video stabilization, depending on which model you have, the stabilization will vary. You will have the portrait orientation where you can have a vertical orientation if you want it to be more vertical phone friendly. And then of course, this option to auto upload to the cloud, and I'll talk about that later. And these are sort of the UI feature benefits you're going to get on your camera. This is for the Hero 7 White. So if you have anything newer than a Hero 7 White, or Hero 7 Silver, or Hero 7 Black, and so on and so forth, those are going to have more features as well. So you'll have 1080, 60, 10 megapixel photos, as well as the 2x SlowMo, which will be great in the classroom depending on what the kids are doing. This is a really quick sample of the user interface. It's very simple. It's supposed to mimic what you have when you interact with your phone. I think the photo timer is really, really useful, especially if you're capturing a photo and you want to be hands off. So something that you could teach your kids or your students on how to use and be creative, so that they could have the entire group part of the shot if they need it. This is a feature that we added last year called short clips. So this is a great way to encourage your students to not record a 1 hour long video clip, which is really difficult to edit. One way is to encourage students to keep it within this short clip period, which is about 30 seconds to 15 seconds. You can actually change it, but it's usually 15 seconds. And this way, this will allow you and your students to really focus on what they're capturing, and then use it mindfully when they're editing. So they're not working with a 1 hour, 2 hour clip, and rather they're working with these 15-second or 30-second usable clips that are very mindfully shot. And I think this is something that GoPro is trying to push our users to do and to use, because so many people will go out, push record, go on a 2 hour hike, and then they don't want to go through 2 hours worth of footage, so they just kind of leave their footage and their SD cards and never go back to it. So this is a great way to keep your students really engaged and mindful about what it is they're capturing and what they plan on sharing. The 1080-60, and I'll talk more about recommended settings, but 1080-60 is probably your most go-to setting because it's the most friendly to work with. If they're editing on a tablet or on their mobile phone, 1080-60 is probably the most mobile friendly setting you're going to get. It's clear enough, it looks great, but it's also compact enough in file size that works really well with your phone and your tablet, or maybe older model PCs if they're working on a PC. When you get your camera, one of the things is a lot of people struggle opening the camera out of the box. So one tip is when you get your GoPro in the box, look at the bottom of the box and there's a pull tab where you can rip open from the bottom. Try not to pull from the top, the plastic part, the clear plastic part, because that is really difficult to do and it's something everyone does. Almost everyone at GoPro has done it. So that pull tab on the bottom of the box is the easiest way to go. And you're going to get everything here in the box, and you'll see these are two adhesive mounts. One is for a curved and one is for a flat surface. This is your buckle. This allows you to mount your GoPro onto different GoPro compatible mounts. Basically, you would put your camera into this frame and then use this thumb screw to attach it onto the buckle, and the buckle will then go into pretty much any GoPro compatible mount or accessory. And then the charging cable right here. Oh, and for Hero 7 White, there is no external battery. The battery is internal, so you would just charge it within the camera. If you have a different model, they will have probably an external battery, in which that case you can actually purchase a dual battery charger, which can charge multiple batteries at the same time. I'm not going to dive too much into this aspect of it, but I just want to create some awareness that if you go onto GoPro.com and you go into our support hub, the user manual and the quick start guide have everything you pretty much need to get started. It'll walk you through everything on the camera, the side doors, what they mean, and actually guide you through the mounting process if you ever need to, which is a great resource. I mean, the quick start guide is also great. I would say it's student friendly as well because it's very much image driven. The power on and off can be a little tricky sometimes because a lot of people mistake the shutter button to be the power on and off. The power on and off is actually on the side here. You would press it to turn it on, hold it down for 3 seconds to turn it off. When you want to do a quick capture, which is sort of a little pro tip, if your camera is off and you want to quickly record a video, you wouldn't need to press the power on button. You can just press the shutter button, and what happens is it turns it on, and at the same time it starts recording. And then you would just stop recording, and then the camera would actually power off. So a little quick capture pro tip there if you need to quickly capture something and maybe save battery. The camera modes, the basic GoPro will always have time-lapse, video, and photo. Most students will most likely use video. Photo, I'm not sure. Actually, burst would be a really interesting one too if the students are trying to capture a very specific moment of a quick action moment. And time-lapse is great when you want to do, so the difference between time-lapse and video, Oh, okay, so sorry, my laptop got into a security mode. So time-lapse video is actually taking photos every X number of seconds, or X number of photos every second. So I like to do 30, and then what happens is it stitches it together and it outputs a video file. So they can use a video. So that's what I would recommend, because night-lapse or time-lapse photo is going to take a bunch of photos and you would have to then compress it together to turn it into a video. So a time-lapse video would be great if the students are trying to get this long moment where they're assembling something and they want to then turn it into a video where they have everything going and that they show all their work that they've done in the past maybe hour. Pretty neat mode for, I think, students that are working on a project. Of course, there's the touchscreen gestures. I won't walk through this, but this is also available on the Quick Start Guide and the user manual on our website. And same with all the icons. I think it's great for students to know that, you know, there's the battery and then there's the SD card that allow you to, you know, monitor your camera and what all the user interactions are on the screen. Then you have your voice control. This also is available in multiple languages. So if you are working with international students or if you're working with students that are bilingual, this is also great. They can use different languages. We have, I think, over 11 languages. So the commands will be online as well. Pairing your GoPro with the app is one of the biggest key features for your GoPro. You definitely want to do this as soon as you take your camera out, you charge it, and the next thing you want to do is install the GoPro app on your phone and actually connect the device. I know some schools have restrictions with like privacy, but if you have a tablet or school phone that is used for only in-school purposes, then this would be the way to go. Definitely connect it to the app because it makes offloading and sharing so much easier. And also, if they're working with CrossBraining, it would be great to have that offload process be as smooth as possible for students. And then some capture to share would be more our perspective. So this is just the creative aspect of using the GoPro. You know, we have multiple mounts and accessories, but in terms of the type of shots that students can get, there's handheld, there's a body mounted for this sort of typical GoPro POV, sorry. There's gear mounted. Definitely check our website if you want to see some of the mounts and accessories. I think a really interesting one for the in-classroom would be the JAWS Flex clamp, because you could actually clamp it onto different areas and then get really interesting angles, which is really neat. And then I talked about short clips. There's a slow-mo aspect of it too. Photo timer, if they need to take a photo and everyone needs to be in the shot. There's also exposure control here on the right. If it's a little darker in the class, what you do is you hold down the touch screen before you start shooting or capturing. And then what happens is you would either adjust based off the darker or the brighter side of your screen. So then you can adjust the exposure depending on the classroom. So if it is darker, you could actually brighten it and shoot that way. There is super photo. I'm going to breeze through this section. Burst, I think if you do use burst, 30 to 3 or 30 per 6 is probably your go-to settings here. That would be 30 photos in 3 seconds or 30 photos in 6 seconds. And then you have time lapse. I think the way to go here is probably a 0.5 second, half second, or 1 2 second for depending on the action. But I think in terms of most use cases, you're pretty good with the half second. If it's darker in the classroom, probably go for 1 to 2 seconds. And then I don't know how many of you are using night photo, Nightlapse, but we do have settings here. This is also in the user manual, so I'll let you guys explore that depending on the use cases. Generally, we want to go higher frame rates for brighter fast action shots, but 1080-60, like I mentioned before, is probably going to be your most safest bet. If you want to start experimenting with higher frame rates or lower frame rates, I would say in low light settings, you want to bump it down to 30, but 60 is going to be just as great for most cases. This is just a shout out that you can submit your content, and you can go to gopro.com/awards and submit. And there's one last part that I want to cover. 1 second here. If you go to our website, we have something called GoPro Plus. You can subscribe and you'll get unlimited cloud storage. We have a break it, we'll replace it policy and 50% off mounts and accessories for GoPro. And for the year, it's only $417 per month. If you want to pay monthly, it's $499, but you can also try it for free for 30 days. So I would definitely check that out. I think there's a lot of benefits here, especially this unlimited cloud storage. So you don't have to worry about losing content or storing content into an external hard drive or having students worry about bringing their own storage. And especially this one. I mean, I'm pretty sure our cameras are definitely very, very, very durable, but if there ever is a case that something happens, this is a great insurance policy that you can add to your camera just in case.
So that's how you use the GoPro. And if you have any other questions, reach out to myself, or you can always go to the GoPro website and see the different options they have for exploring their cameras. Here, the next thing I'm going to show you is a couple projects where point of view was a very important feature, and I'm going to go ahead and start with this rocket one.
Okay, in our STEM class, our project was to build rockets out of 2-liter bottles. The fins help with the stability. As you can see, the rocket goes straight up and right back down. We use water as the fuel, and we use 110 psi to help the rocket straight up. And as you can see, our rocket got completely destroyed after impact. So out of 1/3 full of water, we use the GoPro and
And so in that video right there, you can see that the GoPro was right inside the bottle and did a great job of capturing that stability, which was the task that the students were faced with, how to create fins that allow your rocket to go straight up and straight down without spinning over and over and over again. This one is a GoPro parachute, fun one to do with just a trash bag, some string, and your GoPro. Oh, let me jump back one.
In order to build the parachute, you need a plan to determine the circumference of the parachute. The circumference formula is C equals pi times diameter. We used a meter stick to measure the diameter. We then marked 8 equidistant points to attach the parachute cords with hot glue. Our first attempt failed. We realized that we rolled the parachute up too tight. The second attempt was better. Our third attempt was the best. The air resistance or drag was perfect for a strong wind that blew by us.
And so that's a great one where you can just attach the camera right to the parachute and then get to a space and throw it up. And then here's another one. Great for waterproof.
Our plan is to show how a mixture and solution are different. We assigned everyone jobs in our group. Here is a solution when you add a solute like food coloring to a solvent like water. The two combine and cannot be separated. We prove this by using a strainer to separate the solution. And a mixture is where you add matter with other matter and it can be separated. The rocks are in the strainer.
And then this video is turning the GoPro into a superhero and creating a zipline.
Our plan is to create a zipline superhero that flies across the playground. We built it out of cardboard by measuring the GoPro. We then painted our superheroes. It's time for tests. We had a taut line and gravity forced the GoPro down because we had little friction. The straw had the least amount of friction.
And then this one is when if you're doing any type of robotics and you want to get point of view footage from the robot, this is another one where you can just set the GoPro right on it, right on the robot.
The EV3 needs to travel 59.5 inches to release the weather balloon. Here is our circumference formula, and we engineered an arm that will pick up the balloon free from the wire using Lego parts. Here is our final attempt. We made 3 iterations and this one finally worked. It took us many attempts, but we had success. We attached the GoPro to the EV3 to capture the release. Each team calculated the distance based on wheel rotations.
And so that concludes how to use GoPros in your classroom and in your assignments. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at support@crossbraining.com, and we would be more than happy to give you some other suggestions. And you can always reach or go to community.crossbraining.com, where you can see more lessons and projects that you can put into your classroom.